Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to this review of Land Before Time 12, The Great Day of the Flyers. This movie came out in 2006, and once again, new voice for Littlefoot, which this one sounds pretty good. He does an excellent job here, I will say, compared to the last one. Sorry kid. This is also the first movie to be in widescreen, which does make a difference for sure, and just thought I would say that. So this one was very boring. So let's just get into it. Narration was nothing interesting, but at the same time it's something I have never mentioned for some reason. The person who does most of the narration is the voice for Topsy, Sarah's dad. If you didn't see in my last review, yes, that's his name. You go to the wiki and his name that comes up is Daddy Tops. Love it. But yeah, he does sound bored and kind of done at this point, which could be from age, as he did get very old at this point, or saying the same narration. The one thing he does say at the end though is that things are always changing, so that's a key thing of this movie. Also at this point, a lot of the original music isn't there. They don't use like the theme music that was present in the first film and used a lot of the sequels. It wasn't even in the previous movie either, and so that's actually really upsetting because I really love that music. It really makes you feel, you know, and it's just not there, so that kind of sucks. So we see Sarah nearby an egg watching it, and then we see Tria is still here. In short, she and Topsy got busy. Also here, Topsy, his voice, like, is the same actor, but as I said, he is old at this point or so, because he just doesn't really sound very into it. As I said with the narration, even as Topsy, it doesn't sound very Topsy-like here and there. Like, it comes and goes, and it's a bit off-putting.
Hey, Tria. What are you doing? You planning to stare at it till it hatches?
Hey, I can if I want to.
I know. I know.
His character is calmer, which is interesting to see that he grew as a character. Anyway, they ignore Sarah it seems. She goes off and meets with Littlefoot, Ducky and Spike, who are waiting for something to show up. Petrie nowhere around at this point. But then they spot him and others flying around in formation, but then Petrie sees his friends and loses focus, making everyone come crashing down.
Are they doing that on purpose?
Petrie's mother flies over, so he was with his siblings. She says, "Oh, Petrie, not again," and he looks down sad. So in other words, he messes up a lot. So this is probably what the story will be about then. Later, Littlefoot talks to Grandpa about the Day of the Flyers, why it is so important. He mentions that everyone has its traditions, and it's basically a kind of ceremony for the little flyers to show their skills to the elders, and that they're ready to take their place up in the skies. AKA, ready to show they're not a kid anymore. We then see Tria is annoyed at Topsy sleeping close to the egg, like she's being very overly protective of the egg. And for like a good minute, she keeps getting him to move further and further away, which yeah, they did drag this on for a bit too long, is my point here. Until he finally falls off the side of a small cliff face, and she's like, "Ah, much better." Well, okay, remind me never to get with someone that's okay with me falling off the bed for their happiness. Also, same time, Sarah is still being like completely ignored, like she says goodnight to them, and they say nothing. Also, where are the rest of her family? Does she have siblings younger than her? I like how they disappeared for this plot. We see them walking through CGI grass next. I bring this up in the sense of, like, why? They're really cutting corners here. Yes, the event shows that, like, the wind that Petrie has trouble with at some point, but it's still like, why CGI the grass? Petrie tries to fly in the wind, but has trouble and crashes down in the grass. He screams and we see him walking out of the tall grass, pointing towards it in fear. The others asking if it's a sharp tooth, which he shakes his head to, and Grandpa and some of the adults come along wondering who screamed. Also, Grandpa's face here looks very off-putting. Turns out to be a tiny feathered dino, not like anything we have seen before, which like, can I just talk about that for a second? Like, once that whole feathered dinosaur thing became a huge deal, like, oh, dinosaurs had feathers. It went to all of them to, oh no, actually only some had feathers too. Actually, okay, maybe just a small group of them did. Like, it became this huge thing that so many of them had feathers. But no, they're still big lizards. Pretty much most of the carnivores had them, but none of the herbivores. So they're not just big birds, a lot of them are still just very much lizards. Anyway, he seems really nervous, and is voiced by Rob Paulson, doing his peaky impression pretty much, just without the naff. I tried.
Okay, I guess you're all wondering why I asked you here, huh? You're all wondering.
Topsy comes along, arguing to him like good old Topsy, sounding a bit more like himself, and then walks off, gets told not to go that way, even though pretty sure he came from that way. and falls into some mud. The little dude ends up jumping in with him like an apology. Then Grandpa, who was there, says if only Grandma was around to see this. I only mention it because his mouth doesn't move at all.
I just wish Grandma had been here to see it.
It's also kind of like, why didn't you just add her to the scene? She's not dead. She is in other scenes in this movie, so I don't know. He seems to not remember or know anything. He knows his name is Guido, that's really about it. And he's the only one of his species he has ever seen. Then Peachy starts flying around and singing about wishing he was the only flyer, so that no one would give her trouble. Sarah liked when she was one of a kind, but now there's two. Now, few problems here. You're not one of a kind compared to Guido, who at this point thinks he is legit the only one of his kind, while you, Sarah, are part of a very common species at this time, not to mention. Don't you have siblings? There are Dinah and Dana, who are one of your siblings' kids, so you're an auntie to them. Then there are originally 3 other kids in the original movie and second, so I guess, yep, they're now officially winted out of the movies. So yeah, in short, this song, while I get what Sarah is trying to say, doesn't make any sense with the lyrics used. But at least they say, hey, you are one of a kind though. I like that, and yeah, Guido then talks up like, hey, you guys have no idea how good you got it. Like, yeah, you all have families, well, people who look like you, while he has nothing. So then they try to figure out what Guido is exactly, seeing he looks a little bit like Petrie, but still are not sure. So now here are some problems. They go see Littlefoot's grandparents, seeing if he has a long neck, like legit asking, so do you think you're a long neck? Then after he tries eating up high like a long neck does, they then see a Clubtail, then Topsy, and then Ducky to see if he's a swimmer. So seeing Topsy and Clubtail is odd, like they're kids but they're not idiots. Sometimes. Later, Guido tries to make Petrie feel better, and Petrie says, hey, maybe you could fit in with us flyers. AKA, hey, if you come with my family, the two of us could not fit in together. Nice strategy there, I get it. Nothing better than having people not fit in together. Furries, yay! Tria's egg is about to hatch, so they all gather around and a pink little girl comes out. And at first Sarah's intrigued and goes up to say hi, then the little one falls over and the parents laugh and play with her. Kinda ignoring Sarah, I guess. It's a bit odd. She kinda like feels like she's being ignored then. I guess, like, I don't know. It's one of those kind of moments. So she just wanders off, mad and upset. The little one's name is Trisha, by the way. This is pretty much the same story as the previous movie in a way, with her getting like annoyed at them, ignoring her, making her mad because of change. It's very much the same thing, just slightly different. So Petrie shows Guido to his mum and siblings. Like, also, like, his siblings teach Petrie, give him shit, like, throughout, like, the last 20 minutes, and his mum is right there, not doing anything about it, like, clearly Petrie is upset, she just laughs it off, like, kids playing, or just, like, does nothing. This is horrible parenting. So now the kids once again tease Petrie, and this was kinda amazing. Guido comes in and say, hey, of course he was having trouble. Your backends look like your faces, so he was having trouble figuring it out. AKA, you look like asses. That's a pretty amazing comeback, Guido. Good job there, little buddy. But the kids laugh it off like the little shits they are. But then even the mum laughs and it's like, ha, okay children, time for bed. Girl, this random dino just called your kids butts and you laugh it off. Next you see Trio with a newborn, but like, okay, so Sarah comes by and then is about to like walk off, but Trio calls out to her and she gets visibly mad. But like, them talking to you, isn't that all you wanted in this movie? So Trio asks Sarah to look after Trisha for a little while. At first it's all cute, but then Trisha wanders off in the grass. Sarah brings her back and gets poked in the eye by her and trips over. Trio's like, oh my god, what happened? Sarah explains that the only thing Trio and her dad cares about is that she ran for the first time. Not about Sarah getting hurt. So now something that comes to mind. This shouldn't be about them apparently growing up, like the film says this is a tween film. Seriously, that's what Universal says. But this movie should be about how ignorant parents are to their kids' emotions. Petrie's having trouble, so what do? You let his siblings pick on him and laugh about it. What kind of message is that? Bullying is bullying, whether it comes from random friends or family. And then Sarah's been completely ignored, and Topsy even says to Trisha that she's the best halfling that there ever was. Sarah, gasping in shock, and fair enough. Sarah wants into the others and then mentions why do things have to change, and then sings about what's been happening. That she knows her dad loves her, but at the moment is so focused on the other kid that they're just ignoring her, and it's a song all about change as well. It's a slow song that's meh. The problem here is talking about change, and well, it could change into something good. That's fair and all, and it's fair Topsy has something else to focus on. But the amount of not giving two shits about Sarah that's happening in this movie is not right. but they're now making it out that it's okay because it's changed. They just have to grow up and move on to something. I'm sorry, I still think it should be about parents ignoring their kids. Greedo keeps on helping out Petrie while Sarah is being friends with her sister. Petrie has been doing well with his flying test, where Greedo seems a little upset now that he's not really fitting in, and seems left out not being able to fly with Petrie for once, so he's just kind of there. But the siblings all do like him, and in one scene they're all walking away while he is upset, but then they come back and take him with them, and that's kinda cute. During the night, Greedo sleepwalks, which he accidentally wakes up Petrie, and so he wakes up and follows him. They walk past Littlefoot, so he wakes up, then past Ducky and Spike. Ducky decides to go off and wake up Sarah, just in case they go on an adventure, because if they do, Sarah will get mad. I like that. We're just so used to this shit. We're just like, yeah, all of us need to be here. They help him over water, then help him not to fall into a pit of lava, which, when the hell has Great Valley just had a pit of lava? That doesn't sound so great to me. They do a long sequence of him heading towards a canyon, and so they push down a log, which they then get stuck in its branches, and it's this real tense scene. We even get a random slow-mo, which is a first. All this just for Greedo to turn back around and fall off the canyon, but dun dun dun, he is a flyer after all. The feathers kinda gave it away, and so he ends up sleep flying to safety, kinda. He is alive at least, but ends up flying towards a mysterious beyond, and so the others chase him down. Though tomorrow is the day of the Flyers, Petrie's big event, but he wants to go save his friend. And so, yeah, that's what he does, that's what matters. Greedo then crashes down into beyond and finally wakes up, not knowing what happened, and just thinks it's a prank from the others. Though, of course, he ended up landing on a shark tooth, a new one in the series, a Spinosaurus, so at least it's just not like another T-Rex or a raptor. Petrie flies down and manages to grab him in time and they fly away together. Then the others end up tumbling down and, distract him in a way. Either way, they get him stuck in some rocks and survive to live through another movie. All in all, was just a huge waste of time. At least it was a whole new dinosaur, but it was just a waste of time with how quick it went by and nothing happened. It's a Land Before Time movie. They need to add that little sharp tooth in it, just right at the end there, don't they? Anyway, as they're walking back, they do say to Greedo that he can fly, but he doesn't believe them. At least one of the messes here is Petrie is unsure if he'll make it in time for the day of the Flyers. His siblings all wake at this time and wondering where he is. And so yeah, he is unsure if he should even try, but then they explain he is a great flyer though, and that he flies like nobody else. But then Petrie is like, but that's the problem. The whole point is to show that I can fly like everyone else, which Greedo says, well, maybe that's not the problem. Maybe that's the solution. If there's something I had to learn, it's not to worry about being like everyone else, and you should just be yourself. Just be Petrie and you'll be fine. I do like this. That's a good message because I totally agree. Screw being like everyone else. Just be you. Just be who you want to be. As I like to say. Trisha, we see, wakes up and waddles off as she sees Flyers coming in. Now, I guess, otherwise she's going to judge what's about to happen. So all the Flyers over the valley start flying in formation, though Petrie at first is saying fly in formation, he has said no, I do it Petrie way, and just starts doing whatever the hell he wants. But then all his other siblings start doing the same now and then while still being in formation for the most part. Basically they are starting to join in, and they sing a song called Flip Flap, which Mo randomly appears for a second. Okay, hi Mo. And it's just about flying your own way and doing things your own way. Honestly, it's not a bad song. It's definitely the one they put most effort in. And it's the last part of the movie, pretty much. But of course, I need to add in that last thing in the end. Trisha wandered around for a while, aka the pets not paying attention to the kids, as I mentioned, and ends up falling into a river. They all hear her screams to try to find her, including Trio and Topsy. Greedo sees and wishes he could help, and then he tries to attempt to fly, and he manages to, or at least glide, I guess. He comes down and grabs Trisha, but because, he's grabbing with his legs, she falls in too. He still hasn't learned that yet. Petrie managed to grab them in time before going over a waterfall. His siblings coming down and helping as well. But then she slips and falls down, but Sarah managed to catch her on her face. Lucky she didn't stab her with a nose horn, or else this would be a very different ending. Well, Trio's like, yay, our little one is safe. Topsy comes over to Sarah and says, yes, all thanks to our other little one, and nuzzles her and is like, yeah, it's about time, dude. He even says thank you to Greedo and that he is truly one of a kind. being all nice about it. So it turns out Peach and the others didn't finish their routine, basically, even though, like, they went to save someone. Like, I feel like that's pretty damn important and amazing to do. That's a bit dumb, but at least the mom was like, I'm so proud of you. You know what's truly important. Yeah, saving a life of a child is pretty damn important. That's kind of messed up of you guys to not do that just so you could continue a competition. Then she says that the day of flyers will never be the same, and see all the little ones flying around in the sky randomly. And then Trisha says Sarah's name as her first word. And then the movie ends. And it was just as boring as this review. Probably because I just don't have a lot to work with. There was just no point in this movie. The new character Guido, which I like, barely did anything in the movie. Like, I was expecting them to, like, find his family or find other dinosaurs like him, but that never happened. The only thing he did was to say to Petrie, hey, just be you. Which the others said to, like, the same thing anyway. There just wasn't any point. I do like Topsy has grown as a character in this one, though his voice just didn't really seem very into it. Is it a bad movie? No, it's just boring and pointless. This movie is a 3 out of 10 foxes. So guys, there's 2 more movies left. I'm almost done with this series. This has taken a very long time to get through, and I do apologize for that. I know I do want to try and do this much quicker. I really just want to end this series already, but it takes a long time to do these videos, or I'm just not really feeling it, you know, that happens. I will try and do my best. I am doing what I can, and I hope you enjoyed this video though, even if it was probably pretty boring. I'm sorry. If you did enjoy it, give it a like and subscribe to our channel, because I'll love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.